Hi, I'm Eric Robertson, and I'm a partner here at Goranson Bain Ausley. I'm board certified in family law, and I'm here today to talk a little bit about mental health and addiction issues in divorce. Over the last few years, we've seen more and more instances where either clients or their spouses come into us and they have issues with either their own mental health or their spouse's mental health, or they or their spouse are suffering from some sort of an addiction. The first thing to understand is that addiction issues are mental health issues. Mental health issues and addiction issues are basically the same thing. Somebody that suffers from an addiction disorder suffers from a mental health problem. And it's important that when we are approached with somebody that has one of those issues, that we understand what the issues are. We understand something about what mental health disorders are out there, what kinds of addiction issues are out there, how they're treated, what people need to do to get the proper types of treatment. So it's important for me, when I represent either the spouse or the person with the problem, that we start with some education. First, we need to understand, and we need them to understand what the problems are, and then we need them to understand what can be done to try to get help for those problems. And then we try to understand and explain to them how those problems impact the various issues that come up in their divorce. How will it impact child custody? How will it impact their ability to see their children? How will it impact their ability to keep their children safe? Is there an impact on how their property might be divided as a result of these issues? If you come to me and you have a mental health issue or an addiction issue, the first and most important thing is for me to understand where you are and what position you are with your illness. We are a very compassionate group of people, and our primary goal is to do what's best for you. And what's best for you may be to start with trying to get you some help for your addiction issue or for your mental health issue, get you connected with proper mental health professionals, perhaps get you tested, and get you in a position where you can present yourself in your case as a healthy individual or an individual who has their addiction under control. If your spouse has a mental health issue or an addiction issue, we want to educate you about what's possible in terms of going forward with your divorce. What will a judge do under certain circumstances if somebody has an addiction issue or a mental health issue? What kinds of help can you get to help you with your children, with your ex-spouse, with sharing time with this person who may have a mental health issue? How can you move forward knowing that this person might not get any help or might not get any treatment? And the first thing we do is try to educate you about what the mental health issue is. Oftentimes people go to the internet and get all sorts of advice on what to do and what their spouse may or may not be suffering from. We want you to understand fully what the nature of the illness is, what the nature of the addiction is, and what things are possible to protect you and your children and your family as you go through this process dealing with somebody who might have a mental health issue. The good news is that there are resources available to us and to you to help you move through the process if you suffer from a mental health disorder or an addiction issue, or if you are married or partnered to somebody that has those issues. The bad news is if you don't have the proper representation and the proper resources available to you, you may not make good decisions when it comes to dividing your property or what to do with your children or agreeing to access to your children with regards to somebody that has a mental health issue or an addiction issue. It's very important that you not be represented by somebody that just wants to do what you tell them to do. You need to have somebody that will be honest with you, will educate you about the issues involved in your case, especially with regards to mental health issues and addiction issues, and who do their best to see that you are connected with the mental health professionals and others in the community that can help you as you go through this process. I have a master's degree in psychology, and I am currently training to be a therapist. I have 29 years of experience working with clients who have mental health and substance abuse issues and the spouses of individuals with mental health and substance abuse issues. I am very connected to the mental health community here in Austin, Texas, and have a vast group of mental health professionals and substance abuse professionals that we can refer you to or refer your spouse to if needed to get the help that they need. Currently, probably 70 to 80% of my cases involve either a client or an opposing party who suffers from a mental health issue or an addiction issue. As a result of that, we are very comfortable representing clients who have mental health and addiction issues or their spouses, and we are very comfortable giving advice and making referrals as we go through that process. And you can be assured that we're going to represent you if you have a mental health issue or an addiction issue with understanding and compassion, and do our best to get you through this process. And if you are the spouse of somebody that suffers from one of those issues, you will have our full attention and understanding, and we will do everything we can to protect you and your family as we go through the process.